What's going on? Welcome back to Fanatic Journey. So today we're going to talk to you about Rivian. I want to go over some of the current data points, break it down on what has been really moving it and why tomorrow is a very big make it or break it day for Rivian. Before I get into any of that, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So today it did go down with the broader market, so it went down 1.99%. Very volatile day, so 1277 the low, 1321 the high. I'm going to go over the technicals near the tail end. That'll make a little bit more sense on why it is trading within that range, but 20.4 million shares being traded, 32.45 is the average. So there hasn't been all that much in news associated to the company itself, as you can kind of see right here. As far as SEC filings, so there was a couple that was submitted on August 9th. One is associated to RJ, the other one is Claire, who is the CFO. So Claire did sell some shares right here, not all that much, so 9,500, and that was transaction code F, meaning for tax purposes. 3,200 transaction code S, that is a straight up sell for money or whatever else. Goes over the price, so 1357 for the sale, 1325 for tax purposes. Both did, or sorry, one occurred on the 15th, other occurred on the 16th. And then for RJ, he sold some stock, so 23,000 shares, transaction code F, so that is for tax purposes. Aside from that, it's just been kind of stuck in limbo with the broader market. And of course, tomorrow, like I said, is a very big day for Rivian and just the broader market, because Powell is coming out at the symposium, as you can kind of see right here. So this is some of the data points that did come out today. Some that sparked some fear. So the manufacturing data came in at 48, so that is below 50, showing more of a contraction within the economy. So that's not what people want to see. But tomorrow, the Jackson Hole Symposium. So a lot of people are kind of torn on whether Powell is actually going to come out and say, yes, we need to have a 50 basis point cut. Some are saying that he's not even going to be talking on monetary policy. So tomorrow is going to be a big day. And right now, a lot of growth stocks such as Rivian are holding on by a very thin thread, and I want to go over what that means and technicals and stuff like that. But ultimately, one thing that could really save the market is essentially rate cuts. So right now, for the September 18th meeting, there is a 25% likelihood of a 50 basis point cut, and then a 75% likelihood of a 25 basis point cut. I think the optimism for a 50 basis point did really move to the November 7th meeting, because that does show a good likelihood of a 50 basis point cut there. So 25 and then a 50, I think all in all, that would be fairly good for the broader market. Very good for the EV sector, which is very sensitive to interest rates, and then everyone will be happy. But again, depending on what happens tomorrow, Powell might kind of spook the broader market, and then of course the market will really remember data such as today, the manufacturing, and start talking about recessions, and nobody wants that to happen, right? So all in all, a lot of volatility is going to be coming in the foreseeable future. I'm going to go over some data points and things that you need to know, but as you can kind of see, shorts did return about 255,000 shares today. 15.6% of the free float is being shorted. That works out to be 112.5 million shares overall are being shorted. Utilization 49.45. Cost to borrow average is 0.8, but you still do see that sign of manipulation right here. So cost to borrow minimum is negative, meaning there is a broker out there physically paying people to short Rivian. Kind of messed up, but then again, there is a lot of available shares. So if shorts really did feel that Rivian was overvalued and due to go down, there is more than enough ammunition right here for them to kind of just bring it down. In essence, right? So let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. As far as right now looking at options, so you do see some people posting about this one candle right here, which equated to around 1.8 billion. So a lot of people are posting about this, kind of saying that it's random or whatever else. So I want to go over that. But $5.2 million in calls today, 3.8 million in puts. So a lot of money was getting into Rivian through options. Sentiment wise, majority of which was neutral. So clearly just getting premiums, staggered multi-level transactions. And so if we do click on this right here, sort it based on the premium, you do see these two transactions. So one was for 1.55 million. The second was for 270,000. Both, as you can kind of see, were not bullish nor bearish, just neutral. So yeah, this is why you like to look at a lot of the data behind the scenes. Don't always trust a lot of people posting stuff, just saying it's bullish, bearish, or whatever it is. It was just relatively neutral. So beside the point though, a lot of money was really looking at Rivian over this last little bit. As far as the call options that are being purchased, you do see a consensus for it to be above $14, so more of a recovery. On the flip side, looking at puts, you do see more of a breakdown, more so around the, looks like sub 1250. So in my opinion, there is a lot more upside anticipated, but then again, it's going to largely react to what is happening on a larger scale. And as of late though, there hasn't been all that much in buying. So these are all the transactions occurring today on the secondary market above $100,000. A couple of big ones, 1.6 million, 12.2. You do have one first thing, so 1.96. But beside the point, you had some buying first thing, but majority of the transactions were sells, and you could tell that based on the bid, the ask, and the selling price. I do go through this relatively fast, my apologies, so you can always pause it and read through it, go line by line, everything that you need to know. As well, these are some of the transactions occurring on the dark pool, so kind of matching with that manipulation coming from shorts and whatever else. But a couple of big transactions here, so 1.22 million and then 1.27. So definitely this was a very, very popular exchange. Quickly moving over to IBKR to give you an overview. This is the current Elliott Wave technical. So it is projecting for Rivian to be below, or as long as it is below this pivot point of $14.90, for it to hit between that 980 and 1060. So like I said, it is holding on by a thread. Not necessarily just Rivian, a lot of growth stocks are kind of holding on by that thread, optimism associated to rate cuts. And if that does get popped, then this is where you could see a secondary really push down, similar to what happened in May for Rivian. So not the best. As far as this right here, so these are all the latest analyst ratings, couple of good ones. So 6 days ago, there was a $16 price target. Barclays, Dan, who has a 38% success rating, and then Tom, who has a 46% success rating, did reiterate his $15 price target. But all in all, a lot of these analysts do have bad ratings because EVs haven't really gone according to plan. I'm pretty sure a lot of people generally know that. But as a consensus of all the ratings together, you do have $17.24, kind of the price target right there, and that does represent a 34.58% upside. Quickly going over here as well, latest Morningstar report does show the fair market value for Rivian being $17.21. So that did go down slightly. I think it went to around $18, so it's gone down a little bit since the last report. On a side note, if you are looking for a lot of good compiled information, such as analyst ratings, forecasts, ownership, everything under the sun, take a look at IBKR, completely free to have, link in the description below and also the comments. But quickly going back over to here, some data points. With it right now at $12.81. It is trading between these 2 points right now, so this S2 and this S1. Like I said, the low for today was $12.77, so it bounced off of this S2. So going forward into the next several trading days, just watch for this S2 to hold, so $12.76. On the flip side, $14.07 is going to be the next strong resistance / target. Very wide gaps, as you can kind of see between these fib levels, so that does mean that there's going to be a continuation of a lot of volatile times. And this right here, this S1, essentially is that pivot point for the Elliott Wave technical, so even more of a reason to add that to your watch list. So essentially, yes, Rivian can have a nice kind of breakout. A lot of the data points don't really signal that right now, but all it will take is Powell to confirm that there will be most likely a 50 basis point cut for the September 18th meeting, followed by maybe even another 50 basis point cut for the November meeting. That would be absolutely huge, cause every stock to go up. But if the opposite happens, then yeah, this is where you could see more of a continuation of a breakdown. On the actual chart itself, it is kind of wedge bound between that 150-day moving average right here. Stochastic, you do see Rivian being very oversold at 9, so a good piece of news associated to Rivian or just the broader market. You could see a rush of value investors getting in. Aside from that though, you do see number of retail investors slightly getting back in ever since the 20th. But nothing really crazy. So I think Rivian has just lost the attention coming from both retail and institutions, maybe up until their upcoming earnings, or just like I said, for the 15th time in this video, rate cuts. As bad as it sounds, the market only cares about that monetary policy right now, nothing else. So let me know your thoughts on Rivian. Give yourself a shout out. Have you been buying? Have you been selling? What have you been doing with Rivian? And what is your thoughts on shorts? So a lot of people, especially when it was really running up, a lot of people were saying that Rivian is a squeeze play. Do you guys still believe it is a squeeze play? And if so, if it was to squeeze, what would be the catalyst to really prompt it to go higher? And B, how high do you think it could go? Let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. Make sure you guys definitely take advantage of this promo as well. Link to that is in the description below. So just sign up for a new account, throw $100 at it. They give you 5 free stocks. Each stock is valued up to $2,000. So this is a kick-ass deal. Link in the description below and also the comments. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.